Good afternoon and welcome into Mary's Kitchen. I hope some of you managed to join my video yesterday. Lucas was doing all the cooking in the kitchen and boy, he did a great job. He made some proper Polish chicken noodle soup, but it doesn't just have chicken in it. It has various other meats too to make the stock up. Oh, it was beautiful. In fact, I just finished a great big bowl of it with the noodles, so that was terrific. And Lucas, thank you very much for doing that. And he also made a chicken, sort of Thai coconut curry and a pork casserole. Polish people like to eat. And if they're inviting guests over, they like to make sure they've got plenty of food to feed them. So it was a great honor to be there. And his mum came in from Poland and the auntie and uncle. So everybody's happy in Edinburgh going around having a look at the castle and Hollywood Palace. So I'm glad I got a note from Yvonne, who has been over with her friend Laura from California, and they're back home now, so they had a great time. They came and stayed with me here in Edinburgh. And so I thought, I was at a wedding on Saturday, and the trees were abundant with apples. It was the most beautiful setting you've ever seen. It was absolutely gorgeous, a beautiful wedding. Unfortunately, the sky kept tempting to break open in rain, but we managed to keep it away enough so that the happy couple got married, and that we managed to all be inside a tent where we were all eating, which was terrific. Hence, I painted my nails blue because I had a beautiful cobalt blue tartan jacket on and a great big frilly blouse, real Braveheart stuff, and it looked terrific. So, what's in abundance right now in the garden? What's in abundance in the supermarket? Apples, apples, and more apples. Remember at Halloween you used to go out and everybody used to give you an apple in your bag? If you were unlucky, that is. If you were lucky, you found the ones who did the toffee apples or the caramelized apples. You used to go back and forth to their house 2 or 3 times with a different mask on. Hi Heidi, hi Pamela. Anyway, we had all the tricks when we were young. Change your outfit, throw a sheet over, and we managed to get maybe sometimes 2 or 3 toffee apples, which were the prize, absolute prize. So anyway, the other thing that's in abundance at the moment is figs, and I love figs. I like figs baked, wrapped with maybe a little bit of goat's cheese in the center and wrapped with Parma ham, baked in the oven. Simple recipe. But today I'm going to make an apple and fig crumble. Now basically, I haven't put the recipe up yet. I will put it in the comments for you. Basically, we want about 700 grams. 700 grams. I'll have to convert that into ounces for you of fruit. Now, it calls for 350 grams of figs, but I don't have 350 grams. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some sultanas, which works great with figs and apples. I've cut my apples up. They're right off the tree. And I've put, squeezed the juice of 1 lemon over there. And also, I don't know what you use to grate your lemon rind, but I use this microblader. If you have another idea that you use, would you let me know in the comments? This I find exceptional. Just to show you, that's my rind that I got off. And I'm just going to put that in with my apple. There we go. I just want to show you something really quick. I'm just going to mix that in. I use a peeler to peel my apple. Aileen, how are you, darling? Nice to see you on here. And I have a little competition with myself to try and get the peel off in a oneer. So I wanted to show you this because it just makes life a little bit easier when you're cutting your apple up. So first you need to peel it, and I think I'm winning. I think I'm winning the prize on this one. Yeah, it's still in a 1 piece. Come on, Mary. Keep going. Round and round. 1 more bit. There we go. I love it when that happens. 1 piece of peel. I could have these as a little pair of ear. Actually, dried out. So I wanted to show you this because my friend Aileen, since you're on here, bought me this. And this is an apple corer. And it's quite good if your apple is flat. So just take a little bit off the bottom so your apple sits flat. If not, it moves around a wee bit. And this little corer, you just put over top. You can see that okay, I hope, yeah? You just put it over top of your apple, press down, and presto. You have all your little segments. There might be a little seed. Nope, that's it, it's gone. And just put that into your bowl of apple. I just wanted to show you that because that's a handy little piece of kitchen equipment. I love this apple corer. So you're cutting apples up for your kids. You want them to eat them, so make them look nice. And just put them in little pieces like that, little chunks. And they're lovely, and they will thank you dearly for that. So we put some lemon juice in here. Why? Why did we put lemon juice in here? So our apples do not go brown, okay? So it's the same with avocado. If you put a little, when you cut an avocado, you put a little lemon juice or lime juice on there, and the acidity keeps it from going brown, keeps them nice and clean and white, all right? You don't want to be eating your crumble and find a bunch of brown apples in there, do you? So we're just gonna take, oh, do we need to do that? We don't need to do that. Just take the tip off, the little tip off the, and I'm gonna cut these figs. Now, it called for about 350 grams of figs. I don't have 350 grams worth of figs. I have 4 figs, so 4 figs are gonna have to do. And I'm gonna put some raisins in there to bulk out the fruit. Here we go, just to show you. I'm just throwing my figs in there in my bowl of apples. I'm looking forward to making this. I haven't made a crumble for it. Look at that fig. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely lovely at this time of year. I hope you can find them in your supermarket. If you don't have figs, you can use other fruits. You can use rhubarb, which is good. And just cut the little tip off, as I said, and cut that into quarters, into 6, into 8s, however you want to cut it up. It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to be watching over your shoulder to see if you cut it perfectly. I know if you work as a chef in a restaurant, you have to cut things perfectly. So there's different ways of cutting vegetables, like julienne strips and various other ones, and they have to be done perfect if you're working, especially in a 5-star restaurant. But when you're working at home, that's what homemade food's all about. Do your own thing. So I've got my figs in there, and I'm going to put some sultanas. Oops, maybe overdid it a little bit there with this old sultana, but that's okay. And we're just going to put that in our pie dish. I've just got a pie dish here, and I'm just going to pour that fruit in there. I hope I haven't got too much fruit. No, it always gels down a wee bit, and then we're going to have let me just mix that up. I'll just put it all in. Then I've got 2 teaspoons of castor sugar and a teaspoon of cinnamon. And I'm going to sprinkle that over top of my apples and my figs and my sultanas. All right, and then just mix that up. So that's 2 big tablespoons of castor sugar. Mind you, these apples are really, really sweet. They've got a lovely flavor to them. So I'm just going to mix it. You can mix this in a big bowl beforehand and then just pour it into your pie dish. It's probably simpler, to be honest. But what did I do? I put my flour in my big bowl, so I ended up with my small bowl. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We just get it all in there. Okay, so that's all nice. I'm just going to push that down a little bit. We got our figs, we got our raisins. So this is going to be a really nice crumble. There you go. So I got my figs, my apples, a little bit of lemon juice on there. Don't worry about the recipe. I'm going to put it in the comments for you. Hello, Jennifer. How are you? I hope Audrey's okay after she gets her op at the end of the month. So you can let me know. Aileen's saying she likes figs in her porn star martini. Well, okay. So we've got our figs, and you could put some walnuts in here, you know, and some pecans if you wanted. You can be adventuresome as you like. So I've got about 8 ounces of flour. I've got about 4 ounces of light brown sugar. I'm going to pour this in. And you know what this is going to be, don't you? This is going to be our crumble. So, and I've got oatmeal. And what I use for my oatmeal, I just used quick Irish oats. I love this. How do you say that? Flavins. If you're Irish, tell me how to say that. Flavins, I guess. Irish oats. I use them all the time. I like them. So mix your oats, your brown sugar, and your flour together. In the meantime, I'm preheating my oven. So I've got it on at gas mark 7, so that's 425 Fahrenheit, 225 centigrade. If you have a fan oven, it's 200. All right? Butter. We need butter. Yes, James Martin will be a happy man. I've got my butter out, James. I'm going to cut about 2 inches of butter. Oh, it doesn't matter that it fell in the flour. I'm just going to, and I want it cold, okay, because I'm going to work the crumble with my hands, which I washed earlier. Okay, so, and Pamela's on here. And Ricky Roskovich. Hello, Ricky. Ricky's a friend, old friend from Canada, and his sister Marcia. Nice to see you on here, Ricky, and hope your wife's doing well, Kathy. So I've got we're gonna make the crumble, okay? And I've got the butter in here cold. And what I wanna do is I just wanna gently squish the butter into the brown sugar and the flour. Okay, it's quite therapeutic, this. You might get addicted. And that's why it's called a crumble, because it ends up being quite crumbly. The topping ends up being quite crumbly. So just keep doing that. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to place this beautiful crumble, once we get it crumbly, 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 on top of the apples and our figs and our raisins. And then we're going to put it in the oven, and presto, hope for the best. Hope it's going to be a lovely thing. What else do you do with your apples at this time of year? Tell me. I know what Aileen does. Aileen makes apple chutney, which is great, which uses apples and sultanas and various other little secrets that she puts in that jar. And she usually gives everyone a jar of it once she's made it, and it's lovely. And she gets a lot of apples from my friend Lorna, who has an abundance of apples, which most people do if they've got apple trees, even 1, 2, or 3. You get an abundance of apples from them. We have, there's a cider company here that gives you a couple of bottles of cider if you take in a couple of bushels of apples. But I'm not sure that quantifies a couple of bushels of apples for 2 bottles of cider. But anyway, I guess they think that that's okay. And who's on? All good here, Ricky. Good. I'm glad to hear. That's good. And good morning to you all. Good morning, good afternoon. As I say, our friend Yvonne, follower on Mary's Kitchen, was over from California. And she had a really nice visit. They did quite a lot around Edinburgh. In fact, they were out till all hours, dirty stop outs. And hi, Cheryl. How are you, darling? Good to see you. Here, we're almost getting crumbly here, but I can still feel some big bits of butter. So I want to make sure I break them all up. Use both your hands. All right? And you quite often have to do this for a few different recipes. I mean, there's a little bit of hard brown sugar in there. So I'll take that out. It's like a little stone, actually, but it's brown sugar gone hard. And just keep, like, the more you work this, the better. I mean, you don't want to melt your butter. You want to keep your butter cool. But if you see what I'm doing here, I'm just running it through my fingers like that. Right? Just to get it all broken up. I don't want any big pieces of butter in there. And you could probably do this in a what do you call it, Magimix, and break it all up if you wanted to go the easy route. For me, this is less messy, less things to wash. Okay, I think we just about got the crumble there. And I think that's good. We've got the butter all worked through. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take our apples and our figs, and we're just going to gently cover it in our crumble. And don't forget there's butter all in here, so it's all going to melt. The butter's going to melt and the crumble's going to go lovely and brown. And I will post a picture later on. There's an extra bit of butter, a bit big. And just put that on. And this, once you've got it cooked, so it's quite simple to make, right? Once you've got this cooked, serve it with some lovely ice cream or cream. You can make your crumbly bigger if you want, but this is fine. And then just spread that all around your lovely apples and your figs. Make sure everything's covered. Okay. Just tuck any apples or figs that are sticking out. And take your crumble right down to the bottom. And I think that's about it. There. Maybe a little bit more over here. There, we basically covered our apples now. Look how simple that is. I'm going to put that in the oven at, as I said, gas mark 7, 425 Fahrenheit, 225 centigrade, or 200 centigrade on a fan oven. And that is it. So if you get a chance to make one, will you let me know? I see, Aileen, you're watching here. So I just mentioned you, Aileen, with your apple chutney. If you have some ideas to use an excess of apples, please let me know. And I'd be delighted to try and make the recipe if I can. So there we go. I'm looking forward to this. And the fact I saw the figs, as I said, like goat's cheese and figs, I thought it might be an idea to make an apple crumble with the figs. So that's going in the oven, and I'm going to leave it in there for about 30 minutes. As I said, I'm going to put the recipe for you down below, so you get a chance to make this, and let me know how yours turned out. Post me a picture. All right, thanks for coming on and joining me here in Mary's Kitchen. Cheerio.